hype about it. So let's find out today. Team Endpoint, will you disappoint us and make us happy, or will you step up and beat down FlipSid, beat down the legend that is Markelov, beat down the once legend that was World Edit? Well, actually no, it's the other way around. However, enough about that. Let's talk more about what exactly is the setup coming through. This is of course Mirage. It's where they're going for the double raid boss on the FlipSid squadron. They're actually going for a very interesting strategy with Markelov and Blade both having some utility as well as having thrown over that Tech9 over towards their other player. Electronic and World Edit will be rocking those, but Electronic being taken down immediately is not the way things wanted to be starting off. World Edit gets one shot through, will be able to bring down Snods. An Endpoint beautifully done by them across the connector. That shot was incredibly good. I'm not quite sure how exactly he got that, but still, regardless. Alright, man, I'm sorry to the person who's saying that I'm not watching tier 10. Have fun with, you know, Gambit and the other one. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not talking about the game and I'm looking at Twitch chat instead, it's because I accidentally hit my microphone and I'm trying to, you know, get back in position without it falling. All right now, Endpoint, they have started off by disappointing me by being better than I thought they would be. They had solid setups. The only criticism that I have of them is that their setup was a little bit of a retake one, where FlipSid was able to get the bomb down, and because of that, FlipSid will be able to go for the full buy in the next round. However, Endpoint, they're capitalizing off of the back of that very fact, and they're actually going for 3 UMPs for their own players, and those UMPs will be able to farm up so much money for them that you never know, they might even be able to pull out that AWP. Now, very quickly, Maffy UKOK, I feel like I've seen you and you're someone like relatively famous in the UK scene. That's what I'm talking about. That is a beautiful smoke that I want to be seeing. That's exactly what I want to see right there. Now Waylander, he's gonna, why is my, oh god damn it, my minimap's transparent. I forgot to change that. We can whine about that later. However, what I need to very quickly go through their names. It's ESEA, I think, is it SEO? ESEA, PT, Mighty Max, Snods actually getting a nice shot onto Blades despite the ding coming through. Imi, okay, I think I've gotten the names down if nothing else. I think so at least. Waylander getting a quick shot onto it. Snods. And that will be the end of the UMP hero himself. He was able to get one shot down. Mighty Max gets another one for himself. But looks like World Edit is going to be the one to get that nice little one dig through. It's very interesting, the mechanics of Mirage, particularly on the A side. And we're going to talk about this a little bit after the players actually end up dying out. Hopefully, Team Endpoint will be able to take this round away. Otherwise, I will be very disappointed after such a good pistol round. They will, HUD is fine. I mean, the HUD looks fine to me. I don't know what's wrong with it. And as I say that, World Edit gets one onto its PT. Brings him down, but Emmy actually preventing the bomb from going down, and that will be securing them the round. Very well done by him. Okay, now that that is done, I actually need to make sure that, Markelov making, okay, so, what was I talking about? Of course. Now, the interesting mechanics of the A side is that these few steps actually change things up quite a bit. So, because of the slight elevation, you're actually able to see the headshot level in a place where you normally wouldn't be able to. And that's why they were able to get that kill down. That's why they were able to bring down whoever was in the corner, who I don't really remember because I still don't know their, I still don't know their names just quite yet, to be perfectly frank with you. However, Team Endpoint 2-0 FlipSid tactics. This is where they need to shine. They've got their utility. It's a little bit lacking, and that's slightly worrying considering that this is a Blade lineup. And Blade has always been one of those in-game leaders who like to go for a very execute heavy style. Nice Molotov going through. That's actually going to be stopping them quite a bit. Mighty Max and PT are able to bring down Waylander and Blade, bringing it back to a 4 vs 3 advantage, with Snods being the only casualty so far. Mighty Max from the dark side is actually able to rip them all apart, is able to reclaim the bomb for themselves, and now World Edit, he hears him going up. Beautiful peek coming through from him. Unfortunately, World Edit will be able to isolate that into a few 1v1s, which Mighty Max will win with the help of the pop flash coming through. A very neat, a very clean round, and this is getting me incredibly excited right now. This is legitimately very exciting for me that Endpoint seems to have their basics down. They have their basics. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. See, now personally, I'm getting a little bit confused because I feel like I recognize quite a few of these names in my Twitch chat, especially on-screen lol. Well, not gonna let it get to my head. And speaking of letting things get to their head, Waylander actually gets a bullet to his own. Amy trying to spray down from the B-short area will be able to make sure Blade goes down, but that's actually Mighty Max to secure the kill once again. He's been very stellar so far, along with Snods, who I have to point out for his good positioning. Markelov gets a nice little P250 kill from long range, but FlipSid are staring down the barrel of what should be a 4-0 storyline for Team Endpoint. Amy and Snods backing themselves off a fairly... Actually, no, Emmy's going forward from the B side over towards A now that Mighty Max has taken a fall, but the assault is truly going to be coming from the connector area where World at It with his Deagle is still positioned. The bomb now approaching from the Palace area is going to be marked off with the help of that P250. However, it all does come down to World at It with the Deagle. If he's able to get a few shots in, then that would be massive. However, PT, you look over towards his positioning, he's all the way back towards CT. He's all the way back towards where... Yeah, I'm going to have to go through Twitch chat in a few seconds. But he's all the way back towards CT in a great position to be able to stop that bomb plant from coming through. And I like this from Markelov that they've learned from their previous mistakes. They will be able to get the bomb down, and that will actually allow them to go for the full buy in the next round. Endpoint, they're giving up the plant, and that might come back to bite them. However, they're definitely still playing this incredibly well, able to make sure that they play the anti-eco perfectly. They only lose one person there. They're taking full advantage of their range, and they're playing this in much better than I thought they would be, to be perfectly honest. Okay, who's on-screen lol? God damn it, on-screen lol. He's not telling me who he is. Regardless. 4-0 on FlipSid. Now the AWP comes through. That's World at its territory, and that's where he normally reigns supreme. But will he be able to get anything done right now? He sees the spray coming through. Snods backs himself off immediately. And again, look at the discipline of the British boys. They're making sure that they're not contesting the AWP. They realize this is where they got that bomb plant out. They will almost definitely go for the AWP. They've got World at It. He's one of their star players. And speaking of star players, Waylander might as well be one of them right now because he's getting a nice little spray down onto the two very aggressive people. Some sloppy plays finally coming through from the UKCS. I'm very proud of them for that one. But of course, you can't really attribute that entirely towards them. It's not entirely their fault. Slightly unlucky in that situation as well. But the flashbang coming in, Snods is going to be brought down. Waylander is able to get 3 this round, and ESEA and Imi, they're left in a 2 versus 4 now that ESEA brings it back. Actually, Imi makes it into 2 versus 3, and it's still possible for them. They do have a fair chunk of HP. Imi gets 1 more for his trouble, and if nothing else, he's making sure that this is a very costly victory for the side for FlipSid. For the side for FlipSid. And for one, although FlipSid do end up losing that round out, I have no idea where they who threw the flashbang actually onto it. Snods. I'm very curious because Waylander was instrumental in actually getting that round out in the previous round. And just as I was actually complimenting the Team Endpoint for playing as well and as far back and as disciplined as they will go for an aggressive information gathering play. It doesn't work out. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to do, but still definitely maybe just a tiny bit sloppy. Can't say that I can't really say that I disagree with the logic behind it though. PT still just waiting for World at It to maybe peek through. And look at this mid control coming through from FlipSid. They're able to completely take control. They're able to take down the person on B short. And suddenly ESEA will be in a very tricky situation as well. It throws out that Molotov to make sure Markelov can't push through. And with that, he's going to be in a much better situation for him to be able to back off. But now Markelov, with that smoke, he's extinguishing that Molotov. And it does look like FlipSid are positioning themselves around that B area. However, look at Blade. He can actually push forward. And if he brings down Mighty Max, that would be absolutely massive. Wayland also pushing towards that palace side, and now they're backtracking. They are retreating towards A. Instead, never mind, I lied to you. They've got the bomb in mid, so we literally have no idea where they're going. I say that, but Markelov is very quickly taking the bomb over towards A through connector, and it's all going to be down towards Mighty Max. Where are they going to be deploying the bomb? Markelov, if he goes forward a little bit too much, if he plants towards the side where Mighty Max can actually end up cancelling the bomb plant, it would be massive. Unfortunately, Mighty Max is not going for the swing peak. They have had quite enough of their aggression, but Markelov is using the last of their smokes over towards CT. Mighty Max, this is your time to shine. You need to swing out, you need to swing in, you need to absolutely decimate everyone, and that's what he's looking to do. But it looks like PT will deny him that opportunity because he's the man who's getting two, he's the man who's taking them all down. Flashbang comes through to enable Mighty Max. Finally, he's complaining to his team that he's not getting enough to do, and World at it, he's giving him something to do, alright. He's giving him something to kill. You know, I didn't even realize World at it was getting all those shots. I just thought he was missing shots on Mighty Max. Turns out he's killing people behind Mighty Max. I would love to read a poem out to you, but I have to say I have absolutely no idea. I didn't even realize World Letter was killing people behind him. Speaking of which, Blade and Markelov say hello to Emmy and PT respectively. And does... Okay, never mind. There's really nothing I can talk about this round. People just keep dropping like fleas. Four to 2. Snods with the USP. And I was about to say and a dream, but even that shut out immediately because Waylander has very quickly just shot that head out immediately. Well, I mean, fleas can drop too. I'm telling you, fleas can drop too. However, now Endpoint, they don't... Does Endpoint have an AWP player, actually? I don't quite know. Hi, Super Saber Turbo. Welcome back to the chat. Can someone in chat let me know if Endpoint... I'm not from the UK, but can someone in the chat let me know if Endpoint has an AWP player? Thank you, that would be great. Now, the Molotovs and the Flashbangs are reigning supreme, but unfortunately, ESEA isn't quite able to take advantage of the nice Flashbang being thrown out. The anti-rush flash by Imi, but Imi, right now, he's able to get the aim down. He's able to bring down Markelov. ESEA takes away Waylander's life and goes forward for the spray down onto Blade. I'm choking! Blade gets himself one more kill onto Emmy. I still can't breathe. I'm gonna mute my microphone. Okay, we can breathe again. That's a good thing to do. Good stuff. Now, where were we? Of course, Team Endpoint just got themselves back on the board. They very quickly bring down a FlipSid, and that will be the Snods now picking up their AWP. That made me dizzy. That actually legitimately made me very, very dizzy. Okay, what's happening? Very, very aggressively going forward is going to be Mighty and PT actually, and at the same time I want to look over towards where Snods is. He's also playing slightly aggressively over towards that apartments area, so they've basically said goodbye to all semblance of discipline that I was talking about earlier on with their very aggressive positioning, but I do quite like this coming out from them. Their rotations are going to be incredibly successful, and leaving the AWP player over alone on that B side really isn't the worst of decisions. If he's able to bring down one person and maybe keep himself alive, that would be absolutely massive. Now, ESEA and Emi, they're the ones who need to actually make this work. Emi gets one onto Markelov. Mighty is able to spray one down, but unfortunately the trades are there and it's back to a 3 versus 3. Now the question is, where is Snods going to be coming from, and will he be able to take down World Edit, who is still on that B short area? He is still waiting. Oh no, never mind. Snods might actually be onto this if he realizes where exactly they are. But doesn't look like he's going to be going for that. Regardless, the man inside A, Electronic, is being enough of a distraction for them actually to be able to go for the bomb plant onto B side. And Blade getting that plant down means that they actually don't quite know where the bomb has been planted just quite yet either. With Electronic getting a kill on the A side does mean, never mind, they do know where the bomb is planted. But Snods, he very quickly brings down Electronic, and it's again down to a 2 versus 2. However, with PT being as far away as he is, this is going to be a very, very difficult retake. He's even taking the very long way around. Incendiary goes through. And now the, oh, beautifully done. Snods over there being able to see where World Edit's AWP was sticking out of, and Blade being distracted by PT's footsteps will end up going down. Snods able to clutch back the round for them. 5-3, Endpoint, 6-3 rather. Endpoint maintain their lead. I am dying right now. Flip side though, you have to say, now they are looking shaky at best. World Edit manages to buy up an op, barely buy up an op as well. However, with the Tech 9 on Markelov, things aren't looking very, very good. They've only got 3 smokes to be able to work with. It does look like they're actually setting up for an A side execute, which would probably be their best decision. Blade is getting ready to be able to go forward, to be able to go and try and burst out onto its S side. He sees where Snods is, will be going forward, might be able to get a kill onto its PT, but that's going to be Mighty to bring him down. PT brings down Wayland as well, and immediately it's a 5 versus 3. The bomb backtracks, runs away, says nope, we aren't going to be going there in at all. We're going to go towards B without any utility instead. And that is where ESEA will be welcoming them. However, the bomb is in the hands of Markelov, and Markelov with that Tech 9 has been very, very dangerous in the past. Could definitely be very, very dangerous once again. But with Mighty being able to take down Electronic, bring it back to a 5 versus 2, his chances have gone from minimal to basically non-existent. World Edit being able to save that AWP into the next round, and Markelov killing himself right now, not in real life, in the game, would be the best decision that they could possibly make right now, especially with World Edit going down over there. Markelov, last man left alive. He's got his M4, well, he's got someone else's M4 rather, and he will be able to switch that out for an AWP if the need arises. And it does look like he's actually just running over towards that B side, praying and hoping that he's able to get down that bomb plant, but definitely not going to be happening. Maybe should have just kept that AWP alive and tried to save that in towards that next round, but what can you say? His money was looking very, very threadbare, and perhaps just wanted to be able to make sure that he can buy up utility in a few rounds later instead, especially considering that if he was able to get that bomb plant down, that would be a massive, massive deal. Now, 7-3, Team Endpoint are looking incredibly strong. However, yesterday, we saw something similar coming out in Misfits going up against Premier Rejects on this very same map, where Misfits were down 5-10 on the T side, and they were still able to come back and win the game 16-13. Or maybe it was 16-12. I don't really remember. However, Mighty Max got out with a smoke in his hand, and that won't matter because Wayland simply can't do anything in front of the mightiest of all Maxes. And speaking of the mightiest of all Maxes, he goes down. Just because Waylander can't do anything doesn't mean that Markelov can't. PT, though, he very quickly avenges his fallen teammate, invites him for a cup of tea in the afterlife. And that will be Snods to finish things off with a headshot onto Markelov through the wall, ending it in style. I have a feeling that the chat seems to like Snods. I wonder why I think that. However, 8-3, Endpoint is I'm not sure if FlipSid just playing horribly or Endpoint's actually not a horrible team like UKCS. Well, at least the name always suggests. I don't actually know how bad UKCS is. Is it worse than North American CS or is it better? That's the question. Now, it's always so terrifying to be able to see someone in the underpass in Marklov's position because it just looks like he's about to die immediately. Snods does end up going down after getting a kill onto Electronics, but he's done his work, he's done his job, and he's made sure that the rest of his team will be left in a 4 versus 2. But again, with Marklov going for the very large flank, actually, will be able to bring down ESEA, and that does turn things into a slightly more interesting situation. With the bomb still in possession of FlipSid, they have got the possibility of being able to go for this. Marklov jumping onto its tall booth to get a slightly wider field of vision, will be able to actually watch his teammate bring down P2 back into a 2 versus 2, and with Mighty Max being as weak as he is, a bit of an oxymoron over there, but with Mighty Max being as weak as he is, this is going to be a very difficult retake coming through from the CT side. And at this point, they might just give it up. They might just say, you know what, let's go back. Let's just save our AWP that was dropped over towards the CT side. But Mighty Max needs to go for the wall bang. Sees the shoulder, brings him down immediately. Mighty Max needs more HP right now, though. And I lied. He doesn't. He's going to die. But it won't matter because he dies for a good cause. And the good cause is to save Mirage from the bomb plant. It is worse than North American CS. Okay, I'll have to take, chat's word for it. I will definitely have to take chat's word. Right now, though, they're looking pretty good. I have to say, Mighty over there, especially being able to get a kill despite being as low as he was, still being able to keep his calm, keep his nerves. It's still a really, really good sign to see. And while the scoreboard still does work, we need to point out that ESEA is really the only person who isn't actually performing on the lineup. And that does partially come down to simply the fact that the rest of it... Oh my goodness, Waylander, what is happening over there? Gifted 2 1 versus 1s, and still a very, very quick aim coming through from him. Blade will be pushing through the smoke, perhaps to be able to find out where Emi is. Emi's actually stuck between 3 people. He's going to be ganged up on, but no, he's getting the spray down onto 1, and I lied. I got excited. I thought it'd be a triple spray down. Emi, though, he can't quite get it all out, unfortunately. And now it's going to be ESEA throwing out the smoke in a 1 versus 3 clutch situation. He's got 1, he's got 2, and now back to a 1v2. Blade, oh, never mind. This is actually this is a very interesting situation to be stuck in for him. If he's able to get this, clutch out, I will bow down to this man. Really, I will. And it does look like Electronic might make that a possibility over here. He's still moving backwards rather than forwards. And I don't really think I particularly like that. He will be able to save the AWP going into its next round though. So that's quite nice for them. That does mean that despite their money being a little bit weak, they should be able to continue buying up for the rest of the half. 10 to 5 or 11 to 4 would be the ideal scoreline for Team Endpoint. However, now the money is there from FlipSid. They do not have the AWP money for World Edit, and they will not have that for the rest of the half should they actually end up losing this round out. And so, with that being said, I have to give the advantage over towards Team Endpoint. The AWP is just so incredibly potent on a map like Mirage, where you have so many angles to be able to play, so many ways you can actually make it work out, and World Edit, especially not having one, is going to be making his team much, much weaker. The AWP players just relied on so heavily. PT is perhaps looking to go for a bit of a duel with Waylander, who's pushing forward with the AK. Will not be able to win that duel. Unfortunately, PT is able to take his life away from him. Now, Snod's backing himself off through Death Alley. I love how Deeg CSGO thinks that ESL pays me. I wish ESL paid me. If ESL paid me, I would not be doing such a casual stream. The flashbang going through from Emi will be effective in delaying them for a little while longer. Nothing really to write home about as ESEA goes down. Electronic will be able to get the second frag of the site, and that will actually probably lead to them being able to get away with. Well, that will lead them to being able to get away with the round, or so it seems like, if nothing else. I have to say, it's very interesting that they put the Farmers over on B side as practically not really a lone defender, because he did get some backup later on, but practically a lone defender. It's not really something that I would generally expect. You would normally see the M4A4 at least, if nothing else, and the Markelov will actually end up missing the jump, so they should be able to keep themselves alive for a little while longer. And as I say that, Snods actually takes down Markelov, so doing some decent damage if nothing else. I'm still, I like my air passage is still slightly congested. I can't wait for this game to be over so I can go get myself a drink of water so I can stop dying on the inside and the outside and really all the sides. Well, that it brings down Mighty Max. And despite the weak buy and the numbers disadvantage that they do have on the CTs, I'm not going to put them out of this round just quite yet, because Snods going forward that aggressively does mean that the numbers advantage is now all but gone. Imi with the CZ has a great angle. He's holding a very nice little comfortable angle towards that connector side where he might be able to bring down Electronic. He sees where he is, but unfortunately that actually never mind. It doesn't even matter if Electronic knows where Imi is. He's going to end up going down anyway, and that's suddenly a 4 versus 3. He can't quite retrieve the gun, which is a little bit unfortunate, but Blade getting fully flashed out. That's some good coordination coming through from the UK boys, and that might be the end of Blade, because his gun barrel has been spotted. Unfortunately, the headshot is not enough to bring him down, but he's down to 7 HP, and that is where, regardless of the fact, he should be... Oh, nicely done. Snods finds one in the air. Might be able to find the second one as well. And it's all up to him at this point. If he can actually stop World Edit from pushing through, that would be massive. Unfortunately, though, World Edit is left alone because Blade has gone down to PT. ME, of course, got that headshot early on, making things a little bit more easy, but Snods makes it a 10-5 scoreline. Marks 266. I could go get a drink, but I don't like to disappoint viewers. I really don't. Mostly because this is like the first time I'm... Not mostly, but partially because this is the first time I'm casting to primarily UK audience. And I don't really have that many UK people generally watching. So this is actually quite cool. Because you guys interact a lot more than normal people. And not to say that UK people aren't normal, because, you know, you aren't. You conquered half the world. I'm going to run a 30-second advertisement and hope that it is going to be... Oh god, every time I click on the advertisement button, they ready up and you end up losing out a little bit. A little bit unfortunate, regardless. Okay, fair enough. Mads makes a solid point, but I do want to cover the pistol round regardless. 5 to 10. FlipSid need more than just... They need a lot more than just this pistol round, really. They basically need the second coming of Jesus to come down and smite Team Endpoint, because that's the only way they're going to be able to come back into this game. The bomb plant will go out. Again, they're playing the same. Oh, nice little boost coming through. They were able to get some decent information on, but the bomb plant coming through, and that's not what you want to do. The big advantage of a USP is in those long-range battles. Admittedly, if you're fighting up like this, if you're fighting with this aim, then it won't really matter if you're long-range or short-range. You're getting all the shots through regardless. But now Mighty Max left alone in a very difficult situation, and in that difficult situation will be made even worse as he does end up going down. Still, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Dude, you guys conquered, you guys literally took over like half the world, okay? Half the world. What was I saying? Right, so normally the CTs have a massive advantage when it comes to stopping the bomb from being planted on the A side, especially when you have that many players over towards A side, because the USP is just incredibly effective in those long range situations where you are able to stop the bomb from being deployed. However, I'm from Pakistan. However, flashbang going through. Wayland is actually going to be fully flashed out. He should end up going down. PT can't quite connect with the shots. It's a Bison massacre. He gets 5, and that's why you buy a Bison. That's why you buy a Bison. I really want to buy a Bison in all my games now. There's no such thing as a weird Pakistani accent. I think that's the first ever Bison ace I've ever seen in my entire life. But right now, Electronic, he's saying, you know what? Watch me. I've got an SMG too. Unfortunately, he's playing against AKs. He's not just playing up against pistols. And that really makes a world of a difference. So those nods will be able to end the round. And I'm going to go get some water. I am dying. Okay, I'm back. What's happening? 7-11. Oh god, this is where all the racist jokes start. Come on, guys, let's just get this over with. Speaking of getting things over with, FlipSid might want to be ending their own misery right now because Emmy, he said, you know what? I'm going for a Glock. I don't care. I don't need a weapon for these plebs. And indeed, it does look like he doesn't. Unfortunately, what he does need is a guide on how to be able to throw down Molotovs. Markov and Werledit getting a few shots through. They're able to keep it down to a 3 versus 3, but unfortunately, that's not going to be staying the case for very much longer. As Blade goes down, Markov left in the 1 versus 3. He's got the Deagle, he's got a Dream, and right now, that's pretty much all he's got. He gets a headshot through the crate, but unfortunately, that really won't matter. I didn't fall off the stairs, thank you. Well, Markov in a 1 versus 3 with a Deagle in an impossible situation. If they hadn't gotten the bomb plant down yet, I would still say that there's a chance. But unfortunately, right now, the only thing that's going to happen is maybe he can actually stop them from... Oh, never mind. ESEA and Mighty Max are able to take him down. But I was saying that maybe he's able to stop them from retreating. Able to make them drop their guns with the explosion as well. Well, that being said, 7-12. I have to say, Endpoint's looking pretty good, and it's not just the fact that FlipSid's looking absolutely dog shit. It's that Endpoint's actually looks like they've got their fundamentals down. Like, they're looking... Oh, goodness, Nods. You know... Gets glory hold right there, but it's alright. Regardless, they're looking like they've got their fundamentals down. They're looking like they know how exactly to be able to play this in particular situation. And if nothing else, they're getting their executes right. Emmy turns around, nice little shot onto Blade. And I have to say, if this lineup doesn't have internal problems and it sticks together, this could end up being a pretty solid tier 2 European team. Like, they have the potential. Maybe a few changes to come through, a little bit more practice, but still. Electronic bringing down Emmy. I'm very much out of focus ever since I got up to leave and get water. That's the problem with getting up to leave in the middle of a cast. I lose focus, I lose my concentration entirely. And speaking of losing concentration, World Edit will not be losing his. He gets a kill, he gets a 1 versus 2, and I make it look like that's absolutely nothing because that's just what I do. No, I mean, I legitimately think this team could be tier 2. Like, I'm not even joking. FlipSid is hands down, like, they're having a bad few months, but they're hands down tier 2. They are a team that you wouldn't be surprised if they made it to a major. Not the playoffs, but just generally the group stages of a major. And I think that Endpoint, if they work on, if they stick together, if they work a little bit, then they could very well get to that point where you are you're a possible dark horse in the major qualifiers. So yeah, that's pretty nice for them actually. But however, that being said, Imi going for the standard catwalk, not the catwalk, connector flashbang, making sure that World Edit can't really get too much done with his AWP, but they actually could be counter boosting up and making sure that they're keeping control of that mid side, and I do quite like this coming out from them. A lot of teams on Mirage don't quite prioritize this, especially in ESEA Premier and ECS Developmental League, where they're slightly worse teams. A lot of teams don't really correctly prioritize the mid side for... Oh, hold that thought actually. Electronic, he's looking to peek out, he brings down easier turns around. What's happening over here? Electronic doesn't even need his gun to bring down Snods, and that does look like suddenly Endpoint might not be too happy. But actually, you know what we should do? We should listen in on their comms. Hopefully, we will be able to hear a few comms going on here and there. No, I'm not calling it tier 2 right now. I'm saying they have the potential of becoming a tier 2. 12 to 9, FlipSid are slowly crawling back because this is where the money on Endpoint is looking absolutely atrocious. They will not be able to buy up too well. ESEA will get a Tech 9 for himself, but beyond that they'll need to wait for the next round, and this will be a 12 to 10. FlipSid are very quickly FlipSid are very quickly just making sure that they're still in the game, that they are still an absolute threat towards Team Endpoint. And Amy going down over there, this is basically just a farm round for them. Oh yeah, a lot of... actually, on screen lol, I will answer you right after this round. Remind me again. Yes, anyway, Electronics still going for the peaks over there. PT will be able to bring down Blade. That's going to be a nice little kill for them to get through. Electronic peeking out against Nods, and PT will go down. Nothing really significant over here being done. It's just an eco round being shut down. Anyway, so you talk in-game if you're dead, basically. So if you're lucky, you're able to hear a lot of like good flame and stuff, especially in North American Counter-Strike. You're able to hear a lot of flame. Yesterday we heard some great flame. I mean, people are really misunderstanding what I'm saying about Endpoint. I'm not saying that they're tier 2 right now, absolutely not. I can see the mistakes they're making, and if I can see them, then they must be really bad. I'm saying that they have the potential to be tier 2. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Coder. Or Coda, whatever. Still, PT, now he's got his AK. They've got their full AKs out. Unfortunately, Snods doesn't have that AWP that he's been so incredibly effective on so far. And he won't really be able to get all that much done over here. Waylander just making sure that he won't be brought down by a stray AK shot. Being very careful with the jump spotting over towards those B apartments. And Emmy. He's going to be peeking out, brings down Markov very quickly, will be traded up by Electronic. PT getting a few more for himself, but unfortunately it does look like it's still going to be a 3 versus 3 with Waylander on the B side to shut things down. Snods scouts him out, will be playing around the pillar. They're going to be hugging each other right now. Waylander, he gives him a little bit more than just a hug. It's a full-on lead spray down. ESEA now left in the 1 versus 2. Wordlet is actually scoped towards him, so I would be very surprised. No, Wordlet is no longer scoped towards him. He will be able to bypass the smoke though, and with the flashbang going through, they don't quite know his positioning. If he'd actually kept his patience, if he'd actually kept his trigger discipline, then that could have been big, but he's brought it back to a 1 versus 1. He flashes himself, and that's a magical strategy to flash yourself, spray down everywhere, randomly get a shot through, and it works out for him. He even gets away with the AWP. 13 to 10, Endpoint will be able to maintain that lead, will be able to make sure that they are not, when you have FlipSid, equalize on them. I will try that next time. My bad. We'll definitely try that. Anyway. The grenade going through from Waylander. Hi, Apollo. Good to see you here. Amy getting tagged out by the AWP. Unfortunately, I have to say, Endpoint isn't looking nearly as dominant on the T side as they were on the CT. Perhaps just a little bit of a lack of winning these deals that they're constantly finding themselves in. However, I have to say, their executes are definitely there. Their executes are definitely existent, if nothing else. However, the clock is winding down, and that works in the favor of the terrorist side. Electronic going for the peek over there, finds someone out with the Molotov in his hands. However, he's got some support from the jungle side, and now it's all down towards World with that AWP to be able to try and shut a few players down. Goes for the single peek. Snods needs to try and shut him down. Waylander is going to be closing in on him. If he can actually bring down Snods, then that would be absolutely massive. Instead, he finds ESEA, and Snods with the bomb is going to be backing himself off. PT as well, trying to work his way back into its connector because the bomb is making its way over towards B side. Waylander realizes this, and look at this coming out from him. He's going to be actually just sitting down, making sure Snods will be caught out entirely, and he has absolutely no idea where he's going. Yes, he does! I lied! I lied! Oh, goodness, Snods! The person who was sitting next to him, go give him a kiss on his cheek from me, because he has earned it right now. Ah... I have no idea. I don't know. I don't even know what to say after that one. That's all he needs. 10 to 14 Endpoint. They are going to be feeling good about themselves after that. That's a feel-good round right there. Waylander. He's going to be backing himself off. He's scared right now. He saw what happened before. He's saying, maybe this isn't the best of times for me. Well at it again, just going for the peek on towards Emmy. Emmy throws out that flashbang. Let's see if he's able to get a few kills down. Actually, never mind. Throws out the Molotov instead to make sure that they can't really do all too much. And now with World at it and Markov both being in a very difficult situation of being forced to deal with Emmy and PT over towards that B side. The P250 comes into play though, and they're able to get quite a few kills over here. Markov though, he gets a little bit hyperactive, brings down his own player. ESEA helps out by bringing down another one of his players, and another from Snods. Unfortunately, those Snods being traded out leaves ESEA in a 1 versus 3. Definitely still a possibility for them. However, with the smoke going through, that possibility might be negated very, very shortly. Molotov in his hands. will be thrown out in a very interesting position. Let's just put it that way. Electronic going for the shoulder peek is not probably not really the best idea, but going for the double peek, they will be able to run away with this round. A little bit unfortunate, because FlipSid now they're still in a position where they can come back into this, because you've got that AWP on World Edit, you've got no money on Team Endpoint to be able to buy up, and admittedly they will be able to regain that economic stability for a little while. However, it simply might not be enough right now, because Markelov with the grenade going in. I do have to criticize Endpoint now, though. It's something that I have noticed, and I wasn't really going to point out for a while, because apparently we've got someone in chat who's sitting right next to them, and admittedly they probably do realize this, but they have been focused on mid control constantly. That seems to be their go-to strategy. They seem to have become very, very predictable in what they want to be doing. And FlipSid, they've gotten that read. Blade, say what you like, he's always been one of those in-game leaders who's been infamously good at executions, at anti-stratting, at just generally getting a read on what is happening in the middle of a round. Oh, sorry, in the middle of a game. And he's definitely recognizing that Endpoint is largely focused out towards that mid side, is largely focused out towards keeping control of mid, towards being able to go for those quick rotates out across bomb sites. And 12 to 14 without an AWP on Snods, suddenly they've got more than just a chance. They've got... Okay, never mind. They're actually changing things up this time around, but World Edit, he realizes this because they haven't been selling a fake on towards that mid side. Now, World Edit going for the rotate will actually go down. Snods is going to be the one to bring him down with the UMP. Being caught out in the open, a massive mistake that's going to be coming back to haunt them. Blade can't even scout anyone out to be able to bring down the bomb carrier. He will get one kill, back himself off, but Snod says no. He puts down the hammer, he puts down his foot, and more importantly, he's putting down FlipSid's chances of winning this game. And finally, Markelov unloading a magazine into Snods will be able to keep their chances alive, but the chances are all alive in his own hands. The grenade goes through. If that caught out ESEA, that would have been absolutely massive, but Markelov is waiting too long, and now even if he goes forward, he can't quite make this happen. Maybe he gets one kill, maybe he even gets 2 kills, but right now looks like the only kill that's going to be happening might be on him. Never mind, I lied. He will be able to pick up the AWP, please. Oh, thank goodness. For a second there, I thought, oh god, for a second there, I thought that Markelov would end up losing his gun too. And now 12 to 15 Endpoint. Facing down match point without an AWP. Snods made it work in the previous round, getting 2 very significant frags with the UMP. One onto World Edit, and of course the other one coming out onto a Blade, if I'm not wrong. Markelov, though, still with the flashbang out, is just making sure that they can't quite push up towards that B short area. But again, we see the tried and tested mid-control strategy. And speaking of tried and tested, I didn't say it was tested to succeed. It was, of course, tested, at least, if nothing else. But this is a bit of a different one this time around. This time around, they're sending Snods to die down towards that palace side. Instead, Mighty Max, though, he's the man who's carrying the bomb. He's the man who's carrying the power. He's the man who's carrying... I don't know why I'm going like that, but he is the man, is what I'm trying to get towards. PT, though, blocking out Waylander's entry on towards the side means that Waylander will be left in a 1v3, because Markelov, last time around, he waited a bit too much, and this time he says, I just can't wait enough. So Waylander now with the M4 is in a 1 versus 2 situation. However, have to put it he's playing on very high sensitivity, but Team Endpoint takes the round, takes the game. They will be